Every newspaper article I've been in, it's like they take everything and just always have the worst quotes from me. And I'm like, okay, guys, like you could have took the whole 75 other words I said that were good.
Yeah, wait till you see what I do to you.
Oh, Lord.
All right, start with you, Eric. How is the volume comfortable in your ears?
That's great.
All right, Jessica?
It's good.
All right, did I pronounce Jessica right?
Yes.
I tried to put the little extra emphasis on the C-K-A. Jessica.
Oh,
got it?
This is a continual argument for Eric and I because he's from Georgia, and so it's Jessica.
Oh,
And
Jessica.
and I'm like, no, my name is Jessicka. We're going to clap it out.
Gotta train him like he's Helen Keller.
I was like, come
Right.
on, honey. But my mom also calls me Jessica. I'm like, come on now.
How you two feeling? You nervous at all?
I'm nervous.
Like we're goofballs.
Because, well, I've been watching this forever, like from the very beginning. I've been one of the ones watching this and like commenting on the thing on your.
You're our follower. That's so sweet. Great to finally meet you. Who's clicking like when you're here?
Nobody, but I was on the way here. So while I was driving. So.
All right, we are about to begin.
Let's rock.
Welcome to episode 38 of Black, White, and Blue in the South, a podcast discussing Democratic politics with the Southern flair. I'm Bill Kimler.
I'm Jamil Brooks.
I'm Jessicka Spearman. I'm running for Senate District 3 in South Carolina.
I'm Eric Childs. I'm running for South Carolina House District 6.
And we're coming to you from Greenwood, South Carolina, a little red county in a very red state. If you like what you hear and think others ought to be listening as well, please leave a rating, write a little review, tell your friends about us, follow us on social media, or better yet, load up that BBBBBB Spotify playlist. Do you know what BBBBBB is? That's 6 B's if you're counting.
Yes, Lord.
We know, huh?
Yes, Lord.
Well, instead of having us explain it to you, we will let Texas Representative Jasmine Crockett tell you all about it. Now, this clip you're about to hear, which I'm surprised if you haven't heard about it already. It's from a congressional hearing where the committee was, quote unquote, discussing a resolution to hold Attorney General Merrick Garland in contempt for some dumb reason.
Yeah.
In this video, and we'll have the link to it in the show notes, so you have to watch it. You need not only listen to the words that were spoken between Representative Crockett, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
That's it.
but you have to watch the facial reactions of those who are in attendance. Especially, you have to watch Representative Jamie Raskin, who is just beside himself. He's trying to hold it all in without bursting out laughing.
Yeah.
So let's take a listen to this.
Do you know what we're here for? You know we're here about AG.
I don't think you know what you're here for.
Well, you the one talking about. I guess
I think your fake eyelashes are messing up.
No,
what you're
ain't
reading.
nothing.
Hold on.
Listen,
How dare you attack the physical appearance of another person?
Are your feelings hurt?
Her words down.
Aw.
Oh, girl, baby girl.
Oh, really?
Don't even play. with
Baby
me.
girl? I don't think
We are
so.
going to move, and we're going to take your words down.
I second that motion.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
A what now?
Chairman, I make a motion to strike those words.
I don't think that's
Hold on.
part of
I'm
it.
trying to find clarification on what qualifies.
Chairman, motion to strike those
I had no idea
words.
what you just said.
That was genius. That was genius. Now, it doesn't stop there. Now that you know that BBBBBB stands for Beach Blonde Bad Built Butch Body,
That's it.
a number of musical artists have been inspired. Let's first start with the AOC remix version of this.
Oh my God.
Which is just absolute genius.
Bleach Blonde Bad Built Butch Body remix featuring AOC.
To better understand your ruling, if someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be bad built butch body. That would not be butch
I could listen to this
Job
all
well done.
day.
Job well done.
Now, there's another one I want you to watch. This one actually comes with a good video. This is the Jelly D remix.
Miss Crockett.
I'm just curious, just to better understand your ruling. If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body,
A what now?
bleach blonde, bad built butch body, somebody's
Baby girl.
bleach blonde, bad built butch body,
Order.
bleach blonde, bad built
That is absolutely unacceptable.
bleach blonde, bad built butch body.
Baby girl.
I think your fake eyelashes are.
Don't even play. Baby.
Miss Green agrees to track her
Okay,
words.
you get the point?
Baby.
And of course, if you want to see the extended versions of all of these, check out our show notes. But we're not done. This is a Spotify playlist, and a Spotify playlist comes with many different genres, not just hip hop. If country music is your thing,
Play it.
all right, calm down there, baby
Sorry,
girl.
I got excited. Ooh, baby girl.
Well, it's been a while since I wrote a song, but there was no way I could let this one slip past me. She's a bleach blonde, bad built butch body, swinging for the fences, good God Almighty. A heat-seeking missile, too scared to debate, cries like a baby when she don't get her way. Yeah, she can dish it out, but she sure can't take it. Her whole damn life, she just fakes it to make it. Nobody cares what she has to say. Some new eyelashes wouldn't help her anyway, 'cause she's a bleach blonde bad.
All right, you get the point of that. That was Tennessee Brando. And again, a link to his video is in our show notes.
I think Eric needs to record a country version of that.
Yes.
Ooh, you should.
Yes,
Eric
indeed.
can sing. Eric
Oh.
can sing.
Okay, yeah.
Now you have a new mission in life.
That's
if you
on
do
your
nothing
to-do
else.
list. Yeah, to-do list this week.
So pull up that BBBBBB playlist at your next party and let loose. Let us know what you think by dropping us a note at blackwhiteblueinthesouth@gmail.com. Send us your comments, questions, and topic ideas. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Threads, and Mastodon. We share video clips of our episodes and news articles that will enrich what you'll hear today. So look at those Pulitzer Prize-winning notes, where you can find all of that and more.
Not prize winning, huh?
I awarded it myself, so that counts.
Yeah, it does.
Well, before we go in deep with our very special guests today,
Yes.
I want to discuss two pieces of political literature that hit my mailbox last week. I just found them fascinating.
Okay.
Well, one I found fascinating, the other I found infuriating. So let's look at this first one. Here in Greenwood, we are in State Senate District number 10.
That's right.
Current senator is Billy Garrett, and he has drawn 3 challengers in the GOP primary. This piece of literature that you're looking at here, and again, a link to it is in the show notes, comes from one of those challengers named Charles Bumgardner. So I received this and had to laugh right away because he, right off the top, the big headline addresses the scandal that's happening in the Treasury Department. We've spoken at length about Curtis Loftus and the account that was found that had $1.8 billion in it. So read this headline to me, Jamil, if you would.
State government is not working for you. 1.8 of your money is floating around and no one knows where it is.
1.8 what?
I was going to skip that part.
It just says $1.8.
$1.80.
His headline says $1.80
and no one
of your
knows
money.
where it came from or where it belongs. Where?
Yeah, his wording is confusing. He left out the B, which is a big deal when it comes to the context of the message he's trying to send. So right now I look at that and think $1.80 of my money was misspent. But Jamil, if you would, read also that first bullet point on the left-hand column and read that out loud and slowly. I want you to make sense of this for me, please.
All right. Restructuring by combining, eliminating, and downsizing departments that are too large or have similar missions, government can be more efficient.
I'm sorry, did you miss a period or a comma somewhere? Or
I tried to read
did
them
you
in
leave
there,
out some
child.
words?
They ain't there. Some ain't. Okay, let me see.
They're not there.
Okay.
You read it perfectly.
Oh,
yeah, it made absolutely zero sense. This I can relate to and sympathize with. This has all the earmarks of somebody who's doing their own campaign at home, writing their own literature, and sending things out. Because if there's one thing I've learned in my experience, you can't see your own typos. You can't read your own grammatical errors. Your brain automatically
Puts
corrects.
it in there. Yeah.
Automatically corrects whatever it is you see. So you have to have a different set of eyes, read it out loud, and look at it for you. I've fallen prey to that myself.
Yeah, I rely on somebody else's eyes as well.
Perception is everything.
Yeah, well, I perceive this was bad.
Yeah, this is bad.
This went to every household in Greenwood seeking his vote, and it's tough to get all riled up about $1.8 of missing money.
That depends on who you ask.
Yeah, true.
I think, too, this is one of the reasons why I think it's important to emphasize how imperative education is.
Oh.
Because the educated know that we need those second set of eyes, that we need to be able to have editors, because everyone's brain does this. Every author's been through this. They have editors.
I have anxiety attacks. Whenever I send out a mailer and I hit send, and then I close my eyes, go to bed, and I wake up the next day going, oh, God, what mistake did I make? What typo did I put? What wrong phone number or contact info did I just put on there? Some candidates have put the wrong date sometimes on their literature. I've seen that. The next piece of literature that I want to spend some time on, this one was not amusing or sympathizing.
Oh,
This just made me mad. So this was a mailer from Senator Garrett's campaign with my opponent, Representative John McCravey in District 13. They put out this mailer where basically Billy Garrett takes credit for saving the Lake Conisty Dam.
Sure
now,
did.
Give people the background on this. There is a dam about 50 miles north of Greenwood and Greenville called the Conisty Dam. This thing's ancient. It's built with like pine straw and wood. I mean, just old materials. And there is a sludge of chemical toxins that's on the other side of this dam. And should this dam burst, by the way, this dam's life has expired 60 years ago. It's already 60 years past its life. Then that sludge comes downstream, hits Lake Greenwood, which is all of our drinking water, let alone fishing and recreational sports. We're doomed. So it's going to be a massive disaster. Billy Garrett got funding for this, and now there's been engineers looking at it. There's a plan to build a new dam in front of it, and it's going to take up to 3 years for it to be built. Billy Garrett's taking full credit for this, and then you look at some of the words on this. A big dam problem - solved. Gentlemen, it ain't solved yet. Not a brick has been laid yet. Should an earthquake hit tomorrow, those words solved are not going to ring very true, will it? Shortly after taking office, this is Billy Garrett's quote, I was shocked to learn that there was a looming disaster that would devastate our community. So I'm going to do a little timeline here. I have links in our show notes of articles going back to 2018 describing in detail from DHEC the issues with this dam. So this isn't a new problem. Billy Garrett says that he learned about this when he took office. He took office in 2020. But then in an article from the Index Journal, December 2022, help me do some math. How many years was he in office at that point? 2 years. He says, quote, Garrett first heard about the problem years ago when Representative John McCravey mentioned it to him. It went off his radar until Pruitt, a county councilman, brought the matter back up. So Garrett may have learned about it in 2020, then promptly forgot. 2 years go by, 2 years of this disaster that could strike any minute, and then, he brought it back up. Now I guess I'll act. And that was after the November 2022 election, where that was a part of my campaign, because everybody in Greenwood knows about this issue. Yet Garrett and John McCravey were surprised about it. Garrett was shocked when he took office. That's what happens when you don't live in Greenwood. Like Garrett does not live in Greenwood. So when you don't live in that area, you can't represent the people or its issues. The other thing about this, I'll show you the back. Yeah, you can see for decades, toxic waste threatened to pollute Lake Greenwood and cause billions in damages to the South Carolina economy until Greenwood's own, dude lives in McCormick, until Greenwood's own Senator Billy Garrett got it fixed. You would think he was out there with mortar, and a little shovel building this dam himself. He's done nothing yet but secure funding.
So, oh gosh, let me do this without rolling my
And
eyes
again,
as much.
For decades, it's been building and nothing's gotten done. Let's also remind ourselves who else has been in office for a long time, and that would be
McCravey.
John McCravey.
No
who has
way.
done nothing.
Not that guy.
Not that guy.
McCravey is one of Eric's favorites.
Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed.
And then if you flip back to the front, the thing that caught my eye off of everything that you had, I went immediately to the red section and it said immediately Garrett. I think that's an oxymoron. I'm trying to figure out how does immediate and Garrett go in the same sentence because I'm not seeing any type productivity that can help everybody. So something that we all need, he immediately fixes. I don't believe it.
Right. I love the quote where John McCravey says, "We couldn't get it done without Billy. We just couldn't get traction in the Senate. He moved mountains to make it happen."
Don't make me start on him.
First of all, there was no traction to get because even McCravey never brought it up. He never campaigned on it. He never filed a bill. He never went to a meeting to talk about it. He did nothing. So what is that bull malarkey? I bet you that quote had to do with the abortion bill instead. Like, I think that was a quote taken from another topic and put into this to talk about the Conisty Dam money.
Yo.
And to me, this whole flyer reeks of bullshit.
Oh, we better not go find it, because if we find it, we going to play it back.
The other thing is about this amazing job of securing $40 million. All right, so the South Carolina budget is billions and billions of dollars. And just to put things in context, I took a look at some other requests that were made of this budget. Let's just take one, all right? Compare it to the $40 million for this dam that he moved mountains to get, supposedly. You know about SC State?
Yeah, go.
HBCU?
Yes.
Right. Fantastic school. Guess how much money they sought from the legislature for university improvements?
How much, Bill?
$209 million.
Okay.
All right. And we're talking $54 million for a new classroom building to replace Turner Hall, $45 million to replace a memorial center, another $40 million to replace a hall with a health and wellness facility. $40 million for the dam is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
And it's not moving mountains. It's called doing your damn job. You know, I created a PowerPoint presentation for my job last Friday. Nobody's saying I moved mountains to get that damn PowerPoint done. It's my job. Am I wrong?
No.
Like, take
personally
credit.
could not agree more. Like, it drives me insane to watch these people get congratulated for doing what they were elected to do. Come on, dude.
Yeah. In fact, I think we probably should send some flowers to Self Memorial and to Billy Garrett's hospital room where he broke his arm patting himself on the back when this flyer was created. It was just absolutely silly.
One more thing. I'm not quite sure what he expects to do with $42 million as far as an entire dam project's concerned. Yeah. You spit in that bucket but didn't really do anything else about it.
Well, supposedly the engineers say that that's all that would be needed to build the dam in front of the dam. But I'll tell you what, first I don't
temporary.
I don't want to take away the fact that money was gotten and this is now being worked on. That's fine. That's part of doing your job. It should have been done, in my opinion, 10 years ago when this came to light. But okay, they got around to it eventually. But there's no plan B. Here's what the reports say. If there is an earthquake up in that area and that dam is breached significantly, which can happen. Have we not been having earthquakes in this part of the state?
We have. And we feel them at our house that are resonating. And we're about 20 minutes from Greenville.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Right.
So we feel them at our house. It's not an off thing. They're pretty frequent.
Yeah.
So should that dam get breached, we could be having that disaster tomorrow or the next day or the next day. Could happen at any time.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good. Work is getting done now, but there needs to be a plan B. Where is the disaster preparedness? Where is the contingency plan? Where's the efforts to say we're going to be hauling water in from all over the country to keep the county going? Where's the emergency $2 billion it would take to clean that up? We need to also have these contingency plans.
I will say, though, the fact that there's this big issue where it's got to happen now. It's been such an issue. Like you said, 10 years ago, it was an issue. Mm-hmm. It's going to continue to be an issue until it is solved. But my problem is, why do you guys want to act like you care about the environment now? Mm-hmm. Why pretend to care about constituents now? Because it's the constituents that actually live in Greenwood who are going to have to worry about that drinking water.
Yeah.
Not this guy who's not from Greenwood, from what I understand.
Yeah.
So is kind of beyond me why you wouldn't have made it an issue before then because of the environmental impact.
Amen.
Fired up! Ready to go! Fired up! Ready to go! Fired up!
At this point in our show, we like to talk about campaigns and running for office, and normally it's Jamil talking all about it. But today, we are so delighted to have two special guests with us. We have Jessicka Spearman, who is running for state senate in District 3.
Yes.
And her husband, Eric Childs, who is running for House of Representatives in District 6. And I just can't thank you two enough for running, because as I understand it, if neither of you ran and neither of you were sitting at this table with us today, those would be two unopposed seats come November.
Correct.
Neither of you are being primaried?
Not at all.
That's right. Not on our watch is the way we looked at it.
Thank you for ensuring democracy continues, and win or lose, at least there was a choice on the ballot for good people to choose from. Jessicka, I'm going to start with you. Your opponent, and you don't want to make it all about the opponent because you have a message and you have a platform, but that opponent of yours is somebody special, and I mean that with a capital S.
Yes.
Who is it?
Richard Cash.
My God.
Yeah, we've had lots of fun conversations together.
He turns a blind eye to Richard Cash. Just saying.
I don't understand.
She said, "My God." I said, "He turns a blind eye."
Okay. Now I got you. Okay. Sorry, I need footnotes to some of these thoughts.
I know.
Well, Richard Cash came to my attention and to the nation's attention
Oh my God.
from this little clip that Jamil, you and I played back when we were
did.
talking about, what were we talking about? Child marriage.
Yeah.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah, so you probably know exactly what I'm about to play. But to set the scene as to who Jessicka will be replacing, let us hear from the current Senator Richard Cash in Anderson.
A state senator from South Carolina argued that teenagers should be allowed to get married but not be allowed to have contraception.
He's saying that 16 and 17-year-olds are mature enough to decide to get married, but they're not mature enough to be taught about contraception in school, and they're not mature enough to receive contraception on their parents' health plan, and they're not mature enough to get contraception from the health department, but they are mature enough to get married? Is that what you're saying?
I think my position, when this has come up before, is if a 16 or 17-year-old, certainly if they have their parental consent and they wish to get married and their parents approve it, then correct, I don't have a problem with that.
But you just moved to table a bill that required parental consent to get birth control pills on the parent's health plan. Where's the logic?
Well, the logic is I believe sex belongs within marriage because sex leads to children and children needs parents. And so I'm not in favor of the state paying for contraceptives for unmarried children. I don't think that's a good policy. I think children come from sex, and children need a mommy and a daddy, and that means marriage.
So mom and dad can give consent to get you married at 16, but not to put you on birth control.
Yeah.
All right, and as you watch Senator Cash's visual clues, you can see that even he realizes how ridiculous his argument sounds, or like even he sounds exasperated by his own logic.
Yes. Well, and let's be clear here. There's no age of emancipation in South Carolina. So this, for all intents and purposes, is selling your child, giving your child, trafficking your child to someone else, to a grown man. I debated Senator Cash on the lobby floor. I asked him what age he found this appropriate, how young of a child and how old of an adult. And he said, we have not discussed that in subcommittee, so I cannot speak to that. As the mom of 4 children, no, just absolutely not. We are not giving our kids away. We have a lot of issues with sexual abuse in South Carolina. I'm a trauma therapist. I cannot fathom why he thought that saying that would be okay and why that people in South Carolina would agree with him.
I don't think people in South Carolina agree with him. I think the people that are sitting in those seats that shouldn't be there accidentally agreed with him, and we got a plan for them in November. Because that does not speak for South Carolina.
Yeah, no. And everyone I talked to, he's very inaccessible to give opinions to. I think I'd been to the State House probably 6 times before he actually came out to speak to me. And he was very frustrated that I had come yet again to talk to him. And I think that was one of my first my first cues. You need to run for office, because he does not return text messages. He does not return emails. He does not return any of those things. He is non-responsive to his constituents.
Have you thought about being a high-dollar Republican donor to get a response?
I wish.
Okay. Well, I'm just suggesting, just giving ideas here, just spitballing.
You think that would make him call her back?
Yeah. Yeah, if you donated $1,000 to his campaign, I bet you might get a call back.
Right.
That's the first thing I notice is you can tell from his body language that, like you said earlier, even he doesn't believe what he's saying. It's all special interest talk is what it looks like.
That's a good way to describe that.
So the debate on the House lobby, now you drove all the way from Anderson to Columbia.
Yes.
At a known place and time that you knew he would be there.
Correct.
All right, tell me, what was that like?
It was very interesting because we had several issues that I wanted to address with him. And he was not happy to come out and speak to me. And then...
Well, let's talk about that. So he was in the chambers.
Yes.
He comes out and you're standing right by the door and you just verbally start going at it with him as soon as he walks through? Or did you say, excuse me, come here?
When she goes, she sends the message through the person at the front desk. They print out the email, because you have the email.
Yes.
They print out the email. They take it to the senator and they say, this individual is out there for you. And then that senator has to make that choice. Are you going to come through those doors or not?
Right. So, and he's heard from me. I email, call, text him rather frequently. So I don't think he'd ever put a face to the name per se.
He knows our faces and names now.
Yes, he does. He calls me by my first name all the time. But he came out and we debated abortion. We debated the child marriage. We debated health care for trans individuals.
Was it just the two of you debating, or was there an audience there, or anybody filming it?
There was a huge audience. And yes, South Carolina Progressive Politics was recording, and he demanded that she stop. Yeah.
We need that.
Yeah.
You got it?
No, but I'm going to find it.
No, is this something that's out there?
I've got
it. It has to be. She said
I've
South
got
Carolina.
it.
Can I have $4?
Which I remembered that you had dollars, which is awesome. You actually went down to the jury from my cousin.
Is there a reason you're filming us?
Because I used to live in your district and I still have property in your district, and I want her to have this to reference for memories.
I'm not doing this for
okay.
All right, has it been released?
No, never.
Why not?
I don't know.
Oh,
that sounds like something. I mean, it's public discussion.
It's public discussion.
He's a public servant.
Oh, he won't sign up for a gotcha moment.
Yeah, that's exactly what he says. He's like, you're not going to get me on a gotcha moment. He was like, I'll turn around and go back into the Senate chambers. And so I asked her to stop filming.
Well, what do you mean gotcha moment? He's up there talking about letting 14-year-olds get married and have sex with no contraception.
He doesn't want to end up with a remix like Marjorie Taylor Greene got.
So that was actually the response of the individual from South Carolina Progressive Politics was, you have so many gotcha moments yourself. Like, you don't need my help.
Wow. So what was the moment you had the switch flipped in your mind and said you decided to run against him?
I think it was when we were discussing reproductive rights. He was not very respectful to me as an individual, as a human, and very much as a woman. And so that was a discussion that was had on the lobby after him and I debated, was that he really does not see females on the same level, that he sees them as inferior. I actually was asked right afterwards, hey, will you run for office against him? And that was when it kind of came to mind, okay, I mean, I guess I can do good things and I can do hard things, so let's try to do it.
That's amazing. Eric, let's switch over to you for a hot second here. You don't look like somebody who's been in politics for very long. It sounds like it's not
Thank
your...
you.
It sounds
Thank
like it's
you
not
so
your
much for
wheelhouse.
that compliment. I really
Yes.
appreciate that. I'm going to take that one, and I'm going to keep that one.
As you should. I mean, this is what representation ought to be. The people. coming up. Not the groomed and polished and the law educated, but the people with real world experiences coming through the ranks to have a voice.
Yeah.
That was my personal opinion as well, that honestly there should be people that look like average people, not someone with a $75 haircut.
Yep. Yeah, mine's definitely not $75. Maybe over the course of a year, it adds up to $75.
But mine.
Yeah, but you're special.
I know. Okay.
You're special. Eric, what was the switch flipping with you? Was it at the exact same time your wife decided to run, or did yours come at a different timeline?
Mine probably was in stages, or different things happened to basically confirm that I was going to run. Like, the idea crossed my mind, sure, but why, And then things happened, and other things happened, and other things happened. It's like, okay, well, yeah, we're definitely going to do this now. That first thing was to watch 49 people speak out against H4624, the gender affirming care ban for trans youth, and the outing portion, and them trying to penalize doctors and counselors and therapists for treating kids. That kind of set me back when they had a lobbyist from another state speak in favor of the bill, and no one else against 49 people that were educated and licensed professionals, parents, counselors, teachers. There were a couple of combat veterans that spoke, including myself, and they heard not a single word of anything that any of us said. But my opponent, if she makes it through the primary, sat there.
Let's start and talk about that opponent. Who is it that's currently occupying that seat?
April Cromer.
Ooh, I heard her name recently. She was in the paper because she co-sponsored an abortion bill that called for the death penalty for a woman who receives an abortion. And then she claims later, I don't support that. Like, she put her name on that damn bill, and now she's backtracked so far, you don't even know if it's the same April Cromer. That's the same one, right?
It is. That's the biggest problem when you are willing to back special interests rather than stand on your own 2 feet and say it with your back and your chest and spine. That these are the things you stand on, and the rest of the stuff you won't.
Well, one thing can be said about Eric. He's got a chest and a spine.
He does.
All right. Talk about your background before you got involved in all this.
I was happy working in retail, blue-collar work, doing security, and raising my kids with my wife. And it was the legislators of this state that actually brought me out of my comfort zone. And honestly, I'm going to come out swinging because I'm not looking to lose. I don't believe that the legislators are representing South Carolina citizens' best interests.
That's actually a common story we've been hearing as we've interviewed other candidates. Just even a couple of weeks ago with Francie Cluckley, who's running for state senate. She says she was perfectly happy being retired, but then the abortion ban came and she found herself caught up in rallies and then so moved to run. Same for myself. I was perfectly happy doing what I have a very full life.
Yeah.
Right? But then you see what's done, and unless those people are countered somehow, it'll just continue to get done to us. What were you going to do with your life, Jamil, aside from run?
I was all right with teaching.
Right.
That was going to be my retire spot. I was happy there. Just show up every day, love on kids, give them what they need, and get out of there. But no, they don't want to behave at the State House.
Well, you talked about your experience testifying, and you know that a couple months back we did a 2-part episode about all that testimony, and we featured the two of you pretty extensively. And I can only empathize because I don't have a child who's being attacked by the government just for existing. And I can only imagine what it's like to feel the weight of the government bearing down on you with very little you can do except words.
I think that the past 2 years have been so insane for our family. We did not choose this path. This is not a path that anyone chooses for their child. But this has always been kind of clear to us that we were going to go down this path. And it's been told to me before, you look like you would, the type that would have a transgender child. I don't know exactly what that means, but I know that I'm going to love my children no matter what. And I think that having our child feel the pressure of it, our child's going to summer school this year so that he can graduate early, because all of this has had such a massive effect on his education. We're deciding on, our oldest one just graduated from high school the other day. So she's going to USC for political science.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How many more kids do you have to get through high school?
3.
Oh, all right. I take back the congratulations.
Yeah.
You have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
We have the one that just turned 18. We have a 16-year-old who will graduate next year. And then we have 2 13-year-olds.
Okay.
So we have a ways to go. But, when we're deciding colleges to go to, we're having to decide for our trans child what state is safe for them. The 2 colleges that they wanted to go to, one was in Tennessee, one was in Western North Carolina. Where can you go to get the treatment that you're going to need? What's safe? Can your sibling be with you? Can I get USC to get your major? Which apparently they are working on. But there's strength in numbers, so having our 2 children at USC would be great. But, it affects every aspect of our lives. I think everything has revolved around the care that our child is getting right now. And not in a good way, because anyone else with any type of medical issue in general, the entire state isn't watching them. We have an entire state watching us. And I think that it's heavy, and it's hard for us as parents. It's hard for our kid to hear what's being said.
It's funny because you see the extremist Second Amendment defenders, and I say extreme because it's an interpretation that says we need to arm ourselves as much as possible to defend ourselves from the government when they come and try to take over our lives. And yet you're living through that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
You're living through a government that has intruded upon your lives and your children's lives, and you have little recourse to do about it.
The last 2 years have been essentially traumatic. It's been a laundry list of days that were supposed to be special to us as a household or family or a couple. And every time we turn around, it's, now there's legislation. They're going to cover this particular bill today.
We spent my birthday. We spent Valentine's Day. We spent...
The weekend before her birthday, I took her to D.C. for her birthday. Well, we found out just before that, before we were supposed to leave...
As we were boarding the plane.
That,
wow.
They're going to be talking about this. Sweet. Now that is all we thought about the entire weekend. And then to come back that week and on her actual birthday, drive 2 hours in a torrential downpour rain to have a lobbyist that virtualed in.
Yeah, everybody
went
else
out the subcommittee.
Everybody else is required to be in attendance.
Correct.
Right. Don't get me wrong. I understand them doing the virtual option because there were quite a few people that spoke against the bill, which is fine. I don't have a problem with the virtual thing, but that was the only person that spoke for it, and that's the side they went with.
So that just lets you know they had their mind made up before anybody
Correct.
spoke.
Oh, yeah.
So if I may, I would like to play your testimony, Jessicka, because I think you summed it up well, and sometimes, that's just lightning in a bottle that you caught, and I have to say you caught it. So we're going to take a couple of minutes and replay that testimony, if that's okay.
Of course.
Okay. I don't ask permission of everybody, but I'll ask it of you. All right, here we go.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Jessicka Spearman. I'm a native of Anderson, South Carolina, a licensed professional counselor associate, a mom of 4 teenagers, one of which is trans, the wife of a combat veteran, and the founding president of PFLAG Anderson. I am in a unique position to love a trans adolescent and work professionally within the mental health field. Today, I am here in opposition of 4624. Like many other teens in this state, all 4 of my children have typical teenage concerns. However, legislators are only concerned with the daily health care of my trans child. Being a sophomore in high school, my trans child inquired of his government teacher, "How do you respect a government that wishes genocide on trans kids?" I cannot fathom the emotions felt by an educator having to speak to that level of questioning. Standing before you today, I cannot refute the negative impacts on South Carolina that 4624 will have, especially on mental health care. When limiting access to medically necessary treatment for trans individuals, you're inhibiting the ability of parents to make informed decisions based on evidence-based practices. Additionally, the forced outing of trans children by educators and mental health professionals puts them at an additional risk of abuse and neglect by their parents, overwhelming an already failing Department of Social Services. Lastly, as a professional and as a parent, I believe I have the choice of health care, that it is the choice of health care for my child is between our doctor and us as parents. My child is alive and thriving because he receives the care necessary. Please vote no on 4624.
That was perfectly timed. Thank you.
You know, we talked about how much we hated that dang on buzzard. And I mean, just then I was listening to the testimony again and I went, that dang buzzard is driving me insane.
So what you can't see and what you, like, to put that kind of in context, I am soaking wet in that video. We had been walking over. All of a sudden, I had an umbrella. It blew away. And what you can't see sitting right in front of me is April Cromer. And
facing you?
Facing me. That's who I'm looking at as I'm speaking. And she was not on that subcommittee, but she was in there for that hearing. And the disrespect, the facial expressions, it was astonishing to see someone, because you can clearly hear I'm about to cry many times. And I'm trying to compose myself, and the disrespect of a legislator to not have an ounce of empathy for what we are going through. It boggled my mind. And we actually have a documentary crew who has been following us for this past year. And although you can't see it here, it will be seen. It was filmed. So it's really interesting, and it hurts to have your own representative staring you down, almost in intimidation. I'm not easily intimidated, but we're talking about my child. This is a child that almost passed away when they were born. Their first APGAR scores were 0.0000. So I will do anything to save my child's life. And I think that's every parent. And to see that level of disrespect from my own representative was hurtful. And then she attacks our schools on a pretty consistent basis. The actual school that my children attend, Wren High School, but she's very supportive of having our librarian be fired and an AP Lit teacher. But she attacks regularly Anderson School District 1 schools. So it's hard.
Let me ask you this. Both of you have issues with your state senator and your state house representative. How did you choose between the two of you which one was going to run against whom? Because you could have gone either way, I assume.
It was a hard decision, and we did go back and forth for quite some time. It came down to who was going to be who was going to be the opponent. So with April Cromer, she's being primaried by Kyle White.
Now, is Kyle White more extreme or less extreme than April?
We have met him. He seems like a nice enough guy, but we are familiar with the White family.
As far as I'm concerned, when you look at Republican candidates, it's the same flavor in a different package.
He's a very nice gentleman. His mother is an amazing attorney in Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it kind of boggled my mind that he was running as a Republican. But apparently there's a huge controversy right now if he is a Democrat running as a Republican.
Either way, big shout out. Love his mom.
Yeah, his mom's amazing.
Wow.
Yep, parents can't always be held accountable for their kids.
Oh, I'm not saying he's bad or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, I worked with his mother, and she's fantastic.
But you still didn't answer. How did you choose?
Well, honestly, the thing is that if you look at the opponents, if I ended up facing Kyle White or April Cromer, we just felt that I'd have the better shot in that area, whereas her facing Senator Cash would be the better way to go.
And also career-wise, you know, he's an engineer.
And I'm still going to school.
Yeah, so he's going to finish one degree and start another one. I'm done with my degrees unless I get a PhD. So I was like, I can spend the 4 years. You can do the 2 years, like while you're working on degrees, because he likes to work. So it was kind of, you know, this is a part-time thing, but it's half of the year. How can we sustain that? Because we're not rich. in any respect, and we're raising 4 children. And so it's like.
That automatically makes you poor. I'm sorry, but there it is.
4.
Right.
Right. So we're like balancing whose career, because I literally, as a therapist, can work at night and see clients, whereas he wouldn't be able to have, that flexibility in scheduling.
So 2 things. Every time you say therapist, and I'm thinking to myself, here I go again, Bill, just don't let me keep going too long with this. I have a really big problem with the individuals at the State House not respecting the fact that you are credentialed in a field that relates directly to the bill.
Yes.
And they don't even weigh that at all. That ticks me off because they have no respect for individuals who are credentialed appropriately to speak on a topic. The second thing is I commend you all for weighing the options and strategizing long past election. And I think a lot of times you have candidates that say, I just got to get to the finish line. But it seems to me we have 2 candidates that are thinking past the finish line. What would it look like in 2 years? What would it look like in 4 years? How will you best still be able to be available to serve your constituents?
See, I agree with you. And the thing is, I think that a lot of the candidates that get elected really have that same mentality. I just got to get to the finish line. And that's where they stop.
Yeah.
No, that's not going to benefit South Carolina citizens. That's not going to help us.
Exactly.
What we need are people that, like you said, are thinking past that to what's going to benefit us the most going forward. Like, there's so many things that could be done, and taxpayers' money could benefit paying on their time rather than to legislate things picking on 0.07% of the state's population. Please, someone, if you can help me understand what exactly made that a priority.
We still don't know.
And it was a priority from day one.
Day one to the last day.
The last day it was approved.
Yeah, I remember seeing when they passed that clinicians had the opportunity to not render non-emergency services to anyone if it was against their religious beliefs or morals, values, right?
Oh, it was a creep.
Yeah.
This whole bill was a creep. It was
saw it coming.
incremental.
When that came out, I thought, well, wait a minute now. Okay, so you're giving a provider the opportunity to say, you know what? Hey, I don't really want to, I don't think we should enter into this physician-patient relationship, and you can terminate that relationship, or you can just don't even start it. I thought that would be enough, but that wasn't enough.
No, but then it came the Save Women's Sports Act was the next step in that journey, and then it was just outlawing transgender individuals entirely. I mean, that's where it's going.
And see, I think that I grew up in this really wild environment. In 1992, I had a trans aunt in Piedmont, South Carolina, on the Anderson County side, because it does flow into Greenville. So this isn't something that's new to me. And I also have a gay cousin. So I grew up that way in what everyone expresses is like the most conservative part of Anderson County. I'm also the founding president of PFLAG Anderson.
What is PFLAG? Talk about that for a second.
PFLAG is the support, advocacy, and education for those within the LGBTQIA plus community and their families. It's a national nonprofit organization, and we have had so much success in Anderson. So for those that are like, there's not this huge community in Anderson. I grew up there.
There's a lot of support.
There is.
Wow.
There's
we
tons.
love it.
And, we had nothing but positive feedback when we had a float in the city parade. And, our meetings are well attended.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Our reps waved at us really hard, too, didn't they, when we were in the float?
Yes, we were on our big pride float.
Can you imagine us having an LGBTQI plus float here in Greenwood going down Main Street?
I can.
Who said we can't?
That?
And I would be on it. Like, I'd probably want to be at the front of it. That would be cool as all get
I mean,
out,
the way I'm looking at it is if Anderson can, why can't Greenwood?
Y'all want to make that happen? We can help.
Oh, my God. I just got excited.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Black, White, and Blue in the South. And if you thought that interview with this political power couple was too short, don't you fret. Jessicka and Eric will return next week for the second half of this riveting interview. We hope you enjoyed what you heard. Please take a quick minute and leave us a rating and a review of our show. If you do, it will help make
Bleach blonde, bad built butch body
an international hit. If you are a blue dot in a red sea, keep the faith, keep up the hard work. Jamil is going to derail this closing again because she is not professional in her job and is cracking up over there.
I'm sorry. Really, I'm not.
If you are a blue dot in a red sea, keep the faith, keep up the hard work. Change only happens over many years of work and dedication. As former President Dwight Eisenhower once said, politics ought to be the part-time profession of every citizen who would protect the rights and privileges of free people.
Good one. The end.
The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media and copyright 2024, all rights reserved.